Hello everybody, this is Sanan Salihovic and welcome to my channel where only you have the power to build your world. In today's video, we're going to be doing the first step that you have to take if you're wanting to buy a rental property. So make sure to subscribe to the channel, like this video, and let's get to it. You've been thinking about buying a rental property, but you have no idea where to start. In this series, we're going to be showing you the steps from A to Z, like literally everything that you have to do in order to purchase your first rental property. Alright, so you want to buy a rental property, but you do not know where to start. The first step that you have to take is finding the price range that you will be purchasing your rental property in. For example, 40 to 60,000, 80 to 100,000, 150 to 170,000. You have to find the ballpark price range that you're comfortable with and that you're willing to spend in order to purchase your rental property. So for example, how much money do you need to buy a rental property? That all depends on the purchase price. For example, if you're buying a property that costs $100,000 and you already have a house, so you'll be using conventional financing, it requires you to put down 20%. So you will need $20,000 cash in order to buy a $100,000 house. So how do you determine the price range that you're willing to buy, willing to spend in order to get your rental? This all depends on how much money you have and how much money you can save in the amount of time that you're giving yourself to purchase the rental. For example, if you want to buy a property next year and you're giving yourself 12 months in order to save for that investment property, now you have to see how much money can you save in those 12 months. If you can save $1,000 every single month, at the end of the 12 months, you will have $12,000, and using the conventional way to buy a rental property, 20%, you'll be able to purchase a house up to $60,000. So this is how you figure out what price range you will be purchasing in. So take a week or two, decide how much money you can save in the time that you're giving yourself to purchase a rental property. So let's say you want to purchase a property next year, then how much money can you save by that time? Or if you're giving yourself 6 months or 2 years. In the amount of time that you give yourself, you have to determine how much money you'll be able to save. The more money you save, the more options you will have when buying your property, and the less risky it will be. The more money you can save, the better, because you'll be able to choose better properties. You will not have to be at risk as much because you're not extending your budget. You're not going over the amount that you have. Thus, it'll be a lot safer because you have the cushion to fall back on. So, step number one is determining how much money you're willing to spend on a rental property and determining how much time it will take you to save for that property. For step one, simply decide how much money you need to save and what price range you want to purchase your rental property in. So to make this series useful, I'll be doing the exact same thing that you guys will be doing. And for me, right now, step one, I have to decide in what price range I have to buy the rental property. I've been investing in real estate for almost 4 years now, and I already know what price range I buy, what type of house, what areas, all that good stuff. But for this step, I already decided I'll be purchasing a property from $40,000 to $60,000. So that's my niche, that's my market I go after, and that is my price range. Alright, so your first step will be to determine your price range. I already done this. My price range is $40,000 to $60,000. Step one is complete. That is all you have to do for step one when buying a rental property. Very easy, but make sure to give yourself enough time to save the amount of money. But if you're determined and you want to buy a property as soon as possible, you have to start saving ASAP. So for this step, we're assuming that will be using the conventional method to purchase a rental property. This is probably the most common way people buy rental properties, is the conventional loan, which pretty much bank gives you 80% and you cover 20%. Starting out, this pretty much 95% of everybody that buys a rental property, they use this type of financing. So we'll be using this type of financing as well, 80-20. So you need to save 20% before going to step 2. So how do you determine what price range you will need? There's 2 simple steps. First step, how much money can you save, or how much money you already have that you can invest in real estate. And step number 2 is looking at your city and seeing what prices houses sell for. I live in Louisville, Kentucky, and we have houses from $2,000 all the way to like $2-3 million. So there's a lot of wiggle room in between to pick pretty much any price range you want. So make sure you check your city, see the areas you want to invest in, and see what price ranges those houses go for. So I will switch over to a map of Louisville, Kentucky, so we can go into detail a little bit more. All right, guys, we're on Zillow right now. One of the most popular real estate sites, pretty much where you can buy, sell houses. Shows you everything that is for sale. And now we're looking at the city of Louisville, Kentucky. This is where I currently live. So I'll be showing you everything from my point of view. But your city should be very similar. I looked at multiple cities and they all pretty much have the same exact setup. All right. Now let's go for the cheapest houses. Let me go by the price. Let's put minimum $1,000. All right, the cheapest house in Louisville right now is $4,000. They also have houses for $6,000, $6,000, $9,000, $13,000. But this house for $4,000, it's been for sale for 155 days, pushing half a year, and still for sale. This house is in the West End, which is considered the ghetto of Louisville, Kentucky. So that's probably why it's still for sale. But if you look at the city, let's put minimum $500,000. There's houses well over $500,000. And normally these are in the east part of the city, which is more newer and more expensive. Now let's go back to zero, everything. Now you can see the city has a lot of properties for over 3,000 houses for sale. This pretty much lets you pick any price range that you're comfortable in, you'll be able to buy. And I guarantee you, if you go to any other city, it'll pretty much have the same exact setup. They'll have real cheap houses, then they'll have expensive houses, and everything in between. You just have to figure out how much you're willing to spend, and that's it. Then you can go shopping. And if you have a hard time figuring out what price range you want, just think, how much money can you save in the amount of time that you give yourself to buy the rental property, and what area of the town you want to invest in. For example, in Louisville, we have houses any price range. But let's say you want to invest in a J-Town. You zoom in, and now you will see prices in J-Town from 116,000, 150, 160, 167, 145, 122. Prices 120 to 200,000 in J-Town. But let's say you want to invest in the West End. Oops. Now they have houses for 6,000, 26,000, 38,000, 15,000, $500, 20,000, 65,000, 34,000, 35. And you can see, pick your price, see what part of town you're wanting to invest in, and determine how much money you have to save up. Very simple, guys. You can go on Zillow. They have other sites. Every city should look similar to this. It will have the good areas, bad areas, cheap houses, expensive houses. every city in America will pretty much have the exact same setup. It is your job to pick the price range and the area. But for step one, just focus on the price range. How much money can you save and how much money you're willing to spend. The map of your city should help you determine the price range. Just look at how much prices are selling for in the area that you want to invest in, and this should help you get to a ballpark of how much money you can afford to buy a rental property with. Alright guys, that is step number one. If you enjoyed the video, smash the like button, subscribe to the channel, and wait for step number two, which will probably be in the description, or if you're watching the whole course, it will probably be somewhere on the side lined up in the playlist. Also, make sure to share the video with other people that are interested in buying rental properties. And as always, see you in the next video. Peace out.